So, with almost 45 hours of Jedi Survivor under my belt, I think it's about time I put out my review of the game. It's safe to say that all of us Jedi Fallen Order fans waited very, very patiently for this game to release, anticipating a game that would build upon the story that Fallen Order left us hanging on to for dear life, and boy did it not disappoint. However, before I get into the story, I just want to address the elephant in the room. I'm playing this game on PC, and yes, the performance kinda sucks. The GPU and CPU usage are horribly optimized, but I don't really get a say in this debate as I'm still rocking an AMD Ryzen 5 3600, 16 gigs of RAM and a GTX 1080. Yes, I guess I would assume that this game would be able to hold 60 FPS on low settings, but instead it pushes 50 on Kobo and 90 on Nova Garen, which for me is fine. I was one of those kids who had to run around on the Force Unleashed, rocking a locked 30 FPS. Anyway, now that we've gotten this cleared up, let's get into the review. First, I'm going to talk about the story. Spoiler alert, obviously. The game does a great job portraying how much Cal has grown as a Jedi throughout the past 5 years. We see that he's made accomplices, relationships, and trusts more in his own strength. The trailers made us all think that the antagonist was going to be this goofy looking senator, but this was shut down quickly within the first mission, showing Cal turn the table on him with ease. Cal is no longer this scared Padawan we were given in Fallen Order, and is now this Jedi Knight who has gained a name for himself and become one of the Empire's greatest infamies. This doesn't come without a price though, as this first mission showcases 90% of Cal's team get unalived without hesitation. It sets the tone for the game and instantly lets us know that Cal is going to experience a lot of loss, and we all know that this loss leads to temptation from the dark side of the Force. We saw what happened to Anakin, and Cal is on the same path of loss, and he needs to be very careful. The Star Wars canon is definitely a limit when it comes to Respawn coming up with a story, but in my opinion they did very well. They introduced new antagonists and killed them off. And with Darth Vader being involved in all of this, Respawn did exceptional, showcasing what is essentially a tough Monday morning at work for him. The twists and turns in the narrative really kept us as the player glued to the edge of our seat. I gotta admit, I did not see Bode's backstab coming, but on my second playthrough I really started to see the hidden foreshadows and hints throughout the story. I should have known. When the game showcased Cal and Bode's increasing disagreement over what Tanalorr should be utilised for, I should have realised, but I didn't, and that's what's so great about the story. The more you watch it, the more you dig up, like an episode of Black Mirror. Throughout the game, we see Cal become more and more enticed in the dark side of the Force. We are also showcased his increasing fear of being torn away from the light. This anxiety forces him to rely on his team to keep him from swaying, building upon the already strong relationship they have with each other. On the surface, we see Cal and Merrin's relationship being this little fling they have on the side, which Bode and Grease can joke about from time to time. But in reality, this relationship is a lot more important than we think. Cal needs this trust in his other half. He needs to know that she'll be there to rip him away from the dark side if he cannot do it himself. He needs that assurance, and without it, he is in immense danger of losing himself. This "he just like me for real" aspect of the story allows us as the player to relate to him so much more and be even more affected by everything going on. The loss, the backstabs, is what we are trying to achieve even right? Is Bode right? Is Dagan Gera right? Is Dagan Gera even our enemy? The story was absolutely amazing, and I'm sure everyone can agree. Now, I'm going to jump into Jedi Survivor's gameplay. This game did a great job of building upon its predecessor, retaining the abilities Cal gained in Fallen Order whilst leaving room for further progression. This focused less on the actual Force and more on the technical side of things, with items BD can pick up to allow the player to beat certain puzzles on the different maps, which they may not have had the tools to do so earlier in the story. The only new Force ability Cal learns is the Force Dash, which is a major throwback to the Force Unleashed and gave me big Starkiller vibes. The combat remained the same, but with a lot more combos and lightsaber stances, which were unlockable throughout the story. While this allowed the players to create their own personal build, it also added to the replayability, much like Elden Ring, in the sense that the player has the option to work their way through the story again with a whole different build and playstyle. This game has become increasingly Souls-like, and I'm all for it. I've played through this game twice now on Jedi Grandmaster, and I gotta say, the boss battles are hard and unforgiving. Whether this is a skill issue or not, I don't know, but it definitely feels like the game is more challenging than Fallen Order. Towards the end of the game, you can expect each boss to have an array of different phases. I remember the first time I beat Ravis's first phase thinking, wow, okay, that was pretty tough. Thank God it's over though. To then be absolutely demolished by his Beyblade-esque attack in his second phase. I'm glad these battles are hard. It makes them feel like actual battles, and not just story segments. When you finally beat them, you are actually sighing with relief with Cal. Lastly, I'm gonna talk about the endless added features that we got in this game. We got a whole hub on Kobo, which acts as a safe place where you can grab a drink. Characters you meet and save throughout the universe are sent here. Some of them act as vendors and some just stand there, but at least it's something to do. You have rumors to check out, map upgrades, more collectibles, secret rooms, and the list goes on. I'm going to be playing this game for a whole lot longer after the story than I did Fallen Order, just because of the sheer amount to do around each planet. I hope no one ever forces me to decide whether Jedi Survivor is better or as good as Fallen Order. It's an unanswerable question. However, I'd love to hear your verdict down in the comments below. This video is my opinion, and I'm sure there are lots of other opinions about this game out there. Nevertheless, why not leave a like? It means a whole lot more than just a thumbs up at the bottom of the screen, and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with my journey. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.